Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be reacting to a Nick Cave song called The Curse of Millhaven. I just recently started watching a show on Netflix called Peaky Blinders, and pretty much the entire soundtrack is it's amazing. I love it. First of all, the show's super violent, but really fun. I love the show. But there's Nick Cave, Tom Waits, Leonard Cohen, the White Stripes, the Arctic Monkeys, a whole bunch of artists and bands that I really like, and the music perfectly complements the show. Anyways, not that this is that important, but yeah, I wanted to react to a Nick Cave song, and since it's around Halloween time, it's getting close to being Halloween time. I know it's not really Halloween time yet, but I'm already in that kind of mindset. So today we're going to be checking out a song off of Murder Ballads. The last track off this album I did was Staggerly. So anyway, here we go. Let's jump right into it. Hope you're having a good month. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Off to a great start.
I live in a town called Millhaven, and it's small, and it's mean, and it's cold. But if you come around just as the sun goes down, you can watch the whole thing turn to gold. It's around then that I used to go a-roaming, la 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 la, la la la. Oh, God's children, they all gotta die.
Love the bass line.
My name is Loretta, but I prefer Lottie. I'm closing in on my 15th year. If you think that you've seen a pair of eyes more green, then you sure haven't seen them around here. Well, my hair is a yeller and I'm always a combing. La 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 la, la 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 la. My mama often told me that we all got to die. You must have heard about the curse of Millhaven, how last Christmas Bill Blakey's little boy didn't come home. They found him the next week up in 1 Mile Creek with his head bashed in and his pockets full of stones. Well, just imagine all of the wailing and moaning, la 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 la, la 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 la. Even Bill Blakey's boy, he had to die. Then Professor O'Rye from Millhaven High found nailed to his door his prize-winning terrier. The next day the old fool brought little Biko to school, and we all had to watch as he buried her. Well, his eulogy to Biko had all the tears flowing, la 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 la, la 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 la. Even God's little creatures, they have to die.
All right, I'm going to pause it, mainly because I reacted to the Carney, I think, last by Nick Cave, and it got blocked, so hopefully that doesn't happen here. But I really like how, the whole song so far has been kind of the same. Maybe there'll be a change-up, but so far there's been, the same kind of bass line and chord progression, but there's a lot of intensity that's been building throughout the entire track. And, I don't know, the drums are awesome. Like I've said multiple times, the bass is really cool. And yeah, story's pretty gory. I like it so far. If I'm not mistaken, this song is based at least partially on real events too, as are most of the tracks, if not all the tracks on this album. So that's interesting. Let's keep going.
Our little town fell into a state of shock. A lot of people were saying things that made little sense. The next thing you know, the head of Handyman Joe was found in the fountain of the mayor's residence. Well, foul play can really get a small town going. La 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 la.
Horse is awesome.
La la la. Even God's children, they have to die. Then a cruel twist of fate, old Mrs. Colgate was stabbed, but the job was not complete. Well, the last thing she said before the cops pronounced her dead was, "My killer is Loretta, and she lives across the street." Oh, 20 cops burst through my door without even phoning. La 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 la, la 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 la. The young ones and the old ones, they the curse of Millhaven. I've struck horror in the heart of this town. Like my eyes ain't green and my hair ain't yellow, it's more like the other way around. I got a pretty little mouth underneath all the foaming. La 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 la, la 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 la. Sooner or later, we all gotta die. Since I was no bigger than a weevil, they've been saying I was evil, that a bed was a boot that I'd fitted, that I'm a wicked young lady, but I've been trying hard lately. Oh, fuck it, I'm a monster, I admit it. Well, it makes me so mad that my blood starts a-going. La 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 la, la 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 la. Mama always told me that we all gotta die.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, I drowned the Bailey kid, stabbed Mrs. Colgate, I admit. Did the handyman with his circular saw in his garden shed. But I never crucified little Bico, that was 2 junior high school cycles. Stinky Bohoon and his friend with a pumpkin-sized head. I'll sing to the lot, now that you got me going. La 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 la, la 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 la. Oh, God's children have all got to die.
So there's more than one killer then.
Then there are all of the others, all our sisters and brothers you assume were accidents best forgotten. Recall the children who broke through the ice on Lake Tahoe. Everyone assumed the warning signs and followed them to the bottom. Well, they're underneath the house where I do quite a bit of stowing. La 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 la, la 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 la. Even 20 little children, they had to die.
Wow.
And the fire in 91 that raised the Bella Vista slum, that was the biggest shit fight this country's ever seen. Insurance companies ruined landlords getting sued, all because of a wee little girl with a can of gasoline. Those flames really roared when the wind started blowing. La 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 la, la 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 la. Well, the rich man and the poor man, they all gotta die. Well, I confessed to all these crimes and they put me on trial. I was laughing when they took me away off to the asylum in an old black Mariah. Well, it ain't home, but you know it's better than jail. It ain't such a bad old place to have a home in. La 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 la, la 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 la. Oh, God's children, they all gotta die.
Listen to the drums, jeez.
Now I got shrinks who will not rest with their endless Rorschach tests. I keep telling them that I think they're out to get me. They ask me if I feel remorse, and I answer why I curse. There's so much more I could have done if they'd let me. So it's Rorschach and Prozac and everything is groovy. La 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 la, yes la 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 la. Well, all God's children, they all have to die. La 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 la, la 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 la. I'm happy as a lark now, and everything is fine. La 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 la, la 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 la. Everything is groovy, everything is fine. La 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 la, la 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 la. Well, all God's children, they gotta die.
Well, that was fun. Okay. That was intense. Jeez. That's The Curse of Millhaven by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Hell yeah. Wish the comments weren't turned off, but oh well. I guess it's a remastered version. This was the version on their YouTube channel. So, yeah, loved it. Okay. Track 6 from their 9th studio album, Murder Ballads. Yeah. Huh. All right. Let's just jump into the lyrics then. I mean, I've already talked a little bit. The music didn't change all that much. I think it built an intensity a little bit more, but every time it did, kind of went back down. And so far from just listening to the lyrics, it sounds like this girl killed a bunch of people, and they didn't really suspect her until a certain point. Then they finally found out it was her, and then she kind of revealed that she's not the only one who was killing people, and also that she had done way more than they thought she did. And then they put her on trial and sent her to an insane asylum where she's on drugs now, right? Or on something. All right, the real Millhaven, Illinois, is a city between Chicago and the border of Wisconsin. It has come up as a location in Peter Straub's work, an author that Nick Cave enjoys. If you come around just as the sun goes down, you can watch the whole thing turn to gold. It's around about then that I used to go a roaming, singing la 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 la, all God's children, they all gotta die. Loretta, the main character, is going on her hunt in the night. She's trying to find people to kill, which she defines as her golden time. Quoting the refrain from Henry Lee on the same album, Cave highlights the absurdity of the Curse of Millhaven compared to the somber tone of Henry Lee. Everyone must die. However, the usage of God's children means the speaker is or has family who is Christian. My name is Loretta, but I prefer Lottie. I'm closing in on my fifth. Jeez. 15. She's 14. If you think you've seen a pair of eyes more green, then you sure haven't seen them around here. My hair is yellow, and I'm always combing. Lie, 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 lie. All right, this is a great image of innocence. Loretta prefers the childlike name of Lottie, seems to be the picture of sweet apple pie prettiness with her blonde hair and green eyes. She also has respect for her mother's lessons. Really, the listener could very easily interpret that this verse is an indication that Loretta is a force of optimism in an otherwise miserable frickin' town. Yeah, okay. My mama often told me we've all gotta die. She interpreted her mother the wrong way. Her mother told her that every human has to die at some point, and it's just the nature of things. Loretta understood that it would be her responsibility to speed up the natural process of dying. I also think that this line I think that little annotation might be taking it a little bit too literally. I think that that line kind of shows you that there's a lot more going on than what's on the surface, kind of gives you something to grab onto to let your mind speculate on what could have caused Loretta to make it to the point that she's at now. All right, Lottie. You must have heard about the curse of Millhaven, how last Christmas Bill Blakey's little boy didn't come home, and they found him the next week up in 1 Mile Creek with his head bashed in and his pockets full of stones. So his head was bashed in and he was drowned. Huh. Interesting. All right. Loretta killed the son of Bill Blakey on Christmas. Okay. The stones in his pockets were to make his body sink, which is why it took a week to find the body. Just imagine all the wailing and moaning. Even Blakey's boy, he had to die. Then Professor O'Rye from Millhaven High found nailed to his door his prize-winning terrier. Oh, jeez. The next day, the old fool brought little Biko? The professor may have named the dog after Steve Biko, the South African anti-apartheid activist who died in police custody. Jeez, in 1977. We all had to watch as he buried her. Well, his eulogy had all his tears flowing. He wrote a eulogy for the dog and read it in front of the students. Most likely the dog was loved not just by him, but by the students as well. Even God's little creatures, they have to die. Our little town fell into a state of shock, and people were saying things that made little sense. And next thing you know, the head of Handyman Joe was found in the fountain of the mayor's residence. Foul play can really get a small town going. um, let's see. While the townsfolk were still shocked and recovering from the death, another murder happened. Yeah, a lot of this is very. There's not a ton left to the imagination. It's This is very much a storytelling song. There's not that much metaphor. It's all very blunt and to the point. Lottie, especially, I love how the song's written from the point of view of the killer. Yeah, it's fun. Lottie describes the murders with enthusiasm that borders on glee. This foreshadows the reveal, which happens in the next verse. In a cruel twist of fate, old Miss Colgate was stabbed, but the job was not complete. The last thing she said before the cops pronounced her dead was, "My killer is Loretta, and she lives down the street." I love this line. And 20 cops burst through my door without even phoning. Yeah, that made me laugh. So she's like pissed off that the cops didn't even tell her anything. The self-centered insanity of Lottie is highlighted by the way she responds to the police coming to arrest her. She sees it as a rude inconvenience. Couldn't they have let her know beforehand? The young ones and the old ones, they've all got to die. Yet it is I, Lottie, the curse of Millhaven. I've struck horror into the heart of this town. Like my eyes ain't green and my hair isn't yeller. It's more like the other way around. And I got a pretty little mouth underneath all the foaming. La 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 la. Sooner or later, we all gotta die. Rare example of an unreliable narrator revealed halfway through the song, which works because serial killers often confess in detail when captured. The line is saying she has yellow eyes and green hair, but it's not to be taken literally. It's just a way of saying she's a monster of a person. Foaming at the mouth is imagery derived from the disease rabies to show madness or insanity. Cave also uses this imagery as in I Had a Dream, Joe. I had a dream, Joe. You were standing in the middle of an open road. Your hands were raised up to the sky and your mouth was covered in foam. Kind of scary. Since I was no bigger than a weevil, they've been saying I was evil, that if bad was a boot, that I'd fit it, that I'm a wicked young lady, but I've been trying hard lately. Fuck it, I'm a monster. I admit it. Interesting. Since I was no, so I wonder if this is true. Is there any other? Nothing here. Okay, well, since her birth people already predetermined her future, she would be evil. I don't think that's what it means. It means that she was obviously not a very good person from the beginning, and obviously a lot of different things have kind of culminated in her circumstances to kind of push her along this path, I guess. Anyway, this suggests that Lottie sees the whole thing as a big game. She knows people think she's evil and that they would want her to feel sorry for things she's done. So she dangles the bait, then snaps it back with a rather shocking F-bomb. Now, I've already come to kind of expect some shocking material from Nick Cave, but it is interesting that the F word only makes an appearance here. You know? Like, I've always felt like when you use curse words a lot, then they kind of lose their meaning, which is fine. You know, there's some people who use it all the time as everyday vernacular, and it's fine that it loses its meaning. But when you, like, withhold it, and then you use it at, like, a point like this where it almost becomes more shocking. The effect is amplified past its regular effect. There's a show where they use the F word once every season, and every time it happens, it means that the protagonist has destroyed an important like relationship. It's like with his best friend, with his girlfriend at the time, with a few different characters. I'm not gonna say what show it is because I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it's. I think that when you do stuff like that, it can make it more powerful. Anyways, it makes me so mad that my blood starts a going. Mama always told me we all gotta die. And then she just admits to all the different things. I never crucified. Those were two junior high school psychos. Here she's confessing her murders while denying that she murdered the dog. How does she know who killed the dog? Was she there as an observer? Did the two psychos steal her kill? Huh. Stinky Bahoon and his friend with the pumpkin-sized head. I'll sing to the lot now that you got me going. La 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 la. All God's children all gotta die. Continues the trend of people being as horrible on the outside as they are on the inside. What? Okay. Lottie, who's previously preened over her own appearance, implicitly contrasts herself with the foul-smelling, big-headed dog killers. Loretta is singing here literally, but also figuratively, saying that she's confessing to the crimes that she committed. There's all the others, all our sisters and brothers you assume were accidents best forgotten. Recall the children who broke through the ice on Lake Tahoe? Everyone assumed the warning signs had followed them to the bottom. Well, they're underneath the house where I do quite a bit of stowing, there's probably lots of bodies there. In for a penny, in for a pound. Lottie wants people to know that the murders they caught her for were only the tip of the iceberg. 20 little children, they had to die. And the fire in 91 that razed the Bella Vista slum was the biggest shit fight this country's ever seen. Insurance companies ruined, landlords getting sued, all cause of a wee little girl with a can of gasoline. Those flames really roared when the wind started blowing. Rich men and poor men, they all gotta die. She commits an act of arson that has massive consequences at a high level. It's ironic that an innocent-looking 14-year-old girl can wrought such devastation in such a simple way and never even get caught. I think if this... Yeah, I don't know. Is this a true story? I'm not sure, because nothing here said... I remember reading about this album, and I think... It was a while ago, and I thought what I read said that a lot of the stories on here were at least based on true things, but it might not be, because nothing here has said that it is. So, anyways. I confessed to all these crimes. They put me on trial. I was laughing when they took me away. Off to the asylum in an old black Mariah. Well, it ain't home, but you know it's better than jail, and it ain't such a bad place to have a home in. All God's children, they all gotta die. It's slang for a police wagon. The entomology is theorized to come from an African American boarding house owner called Mariah Lee, or a famous racehorse called Black Mariah. The phrase also comes up in the Tom Waits song called Big Black Mariah. Loretta actually likes living in the asylum better than jail. Now I got shrinks that will not rest with their endless roar, whatever, their endless tests. A roar shot. A test is designed to psychologically test the patient by recording their interpretations of what an ink blot looks like. Psychologists are, of course, trying to explain why such a apparently perfect girl such as Lottie would commit such a horrific crime. I keep telling them that I think they're out to get me. They ask me if I feel remorse, and I answer, why, of course. There's so much more I could have done if they'd let me. So it's Rorschach and Rorschach, is that how you say it? And Prozac, and everything is groovy. I'm happy as a lark now. Everything is fine. Everything is groovy. Everything is fine. All God's children all gotta die. And that's the end of the song. Lottie's not sorry she killed so many people. She's sorry she got caught. This could be the reason she's so flippant about the killing she's done. They pumped her full of happy pills and she doesn't feel anything anymore. She was already like that. They just are now trying to keep her from, yeah. Larks are happy, The larks have happy and cheerful songs, and she is singing along. It can refer to her being carefree. She doesn't see any problems in the future. All right. Curse of Millhaven. This is, yeah. Oh, there's a huge choir. Wow, there's so many people. Hey, Warren Ellis was a part of it. Interesting. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining me. I don't know what else there is to say other than what a great song. Powerful song. Love the storytelling. I love storytelling songs like this. And I hope you are having, like I said, a great month. I recently made a video on my other YouTube channel talking about some really important albums. Like one of them was King Crimson's In the Court of the Crimson King. There was also the Velvet Underground record, The Velvet Underground, a few other things. And I'd really love it if you check out that video if you want. I think I'll link it over here and down below in the description, and probably in the end screen. So I'd love it if you check that out. And all right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having, I'm going to stop repeating that. Goodbye.